Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Sinostar Petrochemicals. They are a petrochemical company based out of China and listed on the Singapore Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol C9Q, as you can see here. In terms of disclosure, I am long Sinostar Petrochemicals and have been since June of 2024, and I'm still buying to this day. Any of this is not financial advice, first of all. You should do your own research as I have done. You may come to different conclusions than I have. And if you do so, leave in the comments below and let me know. So what does the company do? First of all, they extract LPG, which is liquefied petroleum gas, and process it into chemicals to sell for fuel, scientific purposes, and industrial purposes. Looking at the management effectiveness, the company operates in a cyclical industry and has been consistently growing and profitable since 2014. The return on equity is consistently above 10% and revenue growth looks stable. Margins have compressed in recent years, which is part of the whole cyclical industry thing. But that's exactly why I'm looking now, uh, as opposed to looking back here in 2022 when valuations were much higher. I'd rather be buying here, here, and here than up here at the top. So valuations is where this company really shines. And the reason I looked at the company in the first place, they're currently trading at 0.3 times book value, which means all their assets minus their liabilities gives you a number, and the valuation, what the company is selling for, is 1/3 of all of the net assets. And because of that, you have a very, very low price to earnings ratio of 1.7 and a price to cash flow of 0.7. And you might ask yourself, well, why is the valuation so low? I asked the same thing and can think of some risks, but they are all well compensated for in the valuation. The company has a healthy capital position and positive tailwinds. It's always important with foreign companies to consider the risks of currency fluctuations, inflation, increase of cost of goods. So, in other words, if the Chinese yuan or oil prices fluctuate heavily, that could affect your returns on this company. Looking at the valuations is where things start to get crazy. Like I mentioned before, we're at a third of the price to book. We're at a P ratio of 1.6, which means, in other words, about a year and a half, you'll be getting your money back just from earnings, and a price to cash flow of 0.7. So, and PEG, the price to earnings to growth ratio, doesn't even register at the moment. It's just a 0.000. So this stock is trading at a very, very cheap valuation. And part of that is because it's a very small company in the market cap. And a lot of the big funds wouldn't even be able to invest in this if they could, just because they'd push the price up with the amount of capital they have. But looking at qualitatively, it looks very good. It's a cyclical industry. They brought down the debt in recent years to a manageable level, and they've been growing. I don't see anything wrong with this company at the moment. They have a few unprofitable quarters, but it's cyclical, so that's to be expected. Next, let's take a look at the management. So, Mr. Li Jiangping, I apologize if I pronounce it incorrectly. He's the executive chairman and CEO. Uh, they give quite a bit of info on the management here, and it looks like they're all well versed in the petrochemical industry, and everything checks out here. It looks good. The only exception is these crazy photos they have. I mean, look at these guys. I love it. When it comes to catalysts and the business itself, there's nothing necessarily miraculous about this company. The reason I'm looking at it is it's extremely cheap, and I believe in the future of China. I believe China will continue to grow as their economy, and more chemicals will be needed as time goes on, in my opinion. Here's their corporate structure if you're interested. And here we have a nice little presentation about what they do. So essentially, they take the LPG, liquid petroleum gas, and they process it. They take they process it and turn it into gas for heating homes, businesses, things like that. And then they take the propylene and turn it into chemicals used for all sorts of things, plastics, manufacturing, science. And you can go into depth and read this entire document if you like. I've read it. Uh, if you have the time for that, that's excellent. And I highly suggest doing so before buying any stock. So, in summary, we have a pretty average company in what they do. Their returns aren't incredible, but they have tailwinds behind them, and they seem to be managed well in the sense that they brought the debt down. They're profitable. They have a decent cash position. Uh, Everything looks okay on the business side, and on the valuation side, we have an insane cheap valuation, partially because of where the company is located in China, partially because they're just a small company and not many people are looking at these small companies out there. So, one thing to note is that the company is listed in Singapore, so you'll need a broker that has the ability to buy Singaporean stocks. And for that, I personally use Interactive Brokers as my broker. I've been with them for a long time and they've always treated me well and offer great service. And this concludes my summary on Sinostar Petrochemicals, listed on Singapore Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol C9Q, as you can see here. And as far as this company goes, I've been long for a while. It's gone basically nowhere. But the earnings yield is going to be unbelievable on this company. And as you can see, it's 35%. So just on your cash invested, you're earning a 35% return from the earnings. Now, this doesn't include growth or decrease in growth, which can affect these numbers a lot. As you can see, this line is going all over the place. But it gives you an idea when you compare it to other companies, just how much of a return you can get by compounding at these high rates of 30, 20, 35% in this case. uh, you do this over and over again, you're going to be very rich someday from compounding at these high rates. So that concludes my analysis. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe and join our Discord, Econ Investments, to hang out, chat, game. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.